Attention, attention. All units report to your favorite podcast stat. This is That's So RN, where we decode the chaos, call out the cracks, and care a little louder. Let's scrub in. Oh my goodness. Welcome back, Shift Besties. It's your girl, Logan, and today's episode will be all about some of our unsung heroes of healthcare. When I say unsung heroes of healthcare, there are a lot of those, but I would most particularly like to talk about CNAs, PCTs, nurse techs, nurse interns, unit secretaries today. I really want to shine a spotlight on these individuals. I feel like they are some of the largest part of the backbone in healthcare. So firstly, before we even get into all the things I want to talk about, let's just have a clear definition or refresher to these roles if you are not familiar and know nothing about healthcare. And even if you do, just a little reminder as to what these individuals may or may not be able to do or what they do on a day-to-day basis. Just keep in mind that I am in Louisiana. I do work at a hospital. It may vary, different states and different facilities. So please just bear that in mind. But anyways, so firstly, our CNAs. These are our certified nursing assistants. They usually do have to go through some form of schooling, and at the end of that, they will take some sort of exam, hence the word certified, letting you know they are competent and able to perform the learned skills that they were taught in the duration of their schooling. All right, so PCT, that is a patient care tech. They have similar role to a CNA, sometimes with additional training like EKGs or phlebotomy. Again, it just varies in your facility as to what they can do. Please refer to all facility guidelines or policies when referencing these positions and the things that they can do. All right, next, we have our unit secretaries. These are usually the ones you see on the phones, making appointments. These are our communication hub for your facility. They take orders or they help with discharges, admissions, room prep, keeping the floor stocked, organized, faxing, all those things. So nurse tech and nurse intern at the current facility that I'm at, you can use those interchangeably. I know they more recently moved to saying nurse intern because that kind of broadened the scope of things they could do with the supervision of a nurse. Usually these individuals are supervised by a registered nurse, and they are usually already in nursing school. I know my facility in particular likes them to be at least through the first semester of school, so that way they're exposed to clinical settings and it's not that we're having to reintroduce them to anything. So now that we've discussed that and gotten that out of the way, back to our backbone. So our CNAs, our PCTs, our unit secretaries, our nurse techs, and our nurse interns. All right, so we know that these people deal with a lot of moving parts in healthcare. Some of these individuals, more in particular, are CNAs, PCTs, and nurse techs, nurse interns. They're usually on the floor very early. They are kind of getting their day started before the nurse is even making rounds. They're seeing to the patients, making sure they have fresh eyes, making sure they're positioned how they want to, toileting them, making sure they have all the things they need at the start of their day. Excuse me. So when that nurse comes in and they're doing their shift bedside report, they're pretty much taken care of for the time being within what they can do. They often are some of the first people to notice changes. I cannot tell you how many times I have been in shift change or about to start shift report and a CNA, either night shift coming off or day shift coming on, has went, they've checked on the patients, they've gotten their vitals, and something has been wrong. Not necessarily my patient, but just in general on the floor. They are a huge asset and they are kind of our eyes and ears when we can't be everywhere. I don't think a lot of people notice that they usually have a bigger patient load. They may not have the same task and responsibilities as a licensed practical nurse or a registered nurse, but they're usually the first ones on the floor noticing things and they're relaying things to us. So just because the task and the roles are not the same does not mean they are not working just as hard. And y'all know, if you don't have a good support staff, so CNA, PCT, nurse tech, nurse intern, or if you don't have a secretary, that can really make or break your shift. There has been a many times where we were balls to the wall busy. We did not have anybody to answer the phones, i.e. our secretary. We did not have anybody on the floor helping us with toileting, bathing, feeding, and we were running around in a tizzy trying to figure out what's what, what to do. I think it is such a good thing at my organization if you are a oncoming nurse, whether you are a LPN or a RN, they make you shadow with a CNA. I think that is probably the best thing y'all could have done. Not to say we forgot how to be CNAs and do those skills, but you can definitely get a better perspective. I used to get so upset sometimes because I'm just like, I'm a nurse, I'm passing meds, I'm doing this. You can do it. Why can't you do it? Or this patient needs this. Can you go check on them? And they're like, no, I'm busy doing something else. They worked me so hard in those 4 hours. I didn't even get a full shift with them. Those 4 hours, I had such a new appreciation for them. And it really just made me, it was very humbling. It really just made me sit back and be like, maybe I shouldn't be so quick to get upset if they can't do all the things that I need on this list within a certain amount of time. We're all human and we all can only do what we can do, right? Which brings me to my next point, the emotional and mental toll that this takes on all these individuals. We work really hard, but they work just as hard, and they are susceptible to burnout as well. They are not above burnout, and stuff happens. I know personally, just from the other side of that, our unit secretaries, because I was a unit secretary as well, and I was a CNA. Unit secretaries are answering the phone all day. They're constantly having to talk to people. I know that in itself can probably be draining. There has been many times on my shifts where I'm just like, I get to a certain point and my brain is like blocking everything off. I'm like, I don't want to talk. I've talked enough. I'm tired of using my customer service voice. I just want to be left alone, which I know we can't just be left alone, obviously, because we have patients to attend to, doctors to talk with and collaborate with, and other facilities and other departments. But sometimes I'm just like, I just want everybody to hush for 5 minutes. It's like a tired mom when you get home and your kids want to be all on you and you're just like, everybody just be quiet, please, for 2 seconds. Let me decompress and go on about my day, and then we can go from there. They are an integral part of what I feel is building trust, which we still come as nurses. We talk to our patients, we talk to the family. But I feel like because our CNAs, PCTs, nurse techs are in there so much, even sometimes a unit secretary will need to go in the room. I feel like they sometimes can make a better connection with the patients. There has been times where we've had what we would consider a difficult patient or a patient that might not necessarily be doing the things we want them to do. And the CNA or the PCT or ancillary service goes and talks with them, and they're a completely different person. They have the time to sit and listen to them. Or some of our veteran CNAs I absolutely love. They will clean those patients so good and just have them feeling like a new person. It's just little things like that that make the connections and that we nurses sometimes don't have the time and availability to do. There have been times where I'm in the room talking to the patient. Here's your meds. Here's what they for. Pass the meds. Take the meds. Scan the meds. And all the things I'm supposed to be doing. And then I have to leave. So I don't always get that necessary extra time to go and see about them like I would like to as a nurse. This has been very evident in the people that I've talked to recently, with the burnout and just how they're feeling. Biggest thing that I hear, which I'm sure this is a problem across the board for a lot of people, is pay. Y'all are not paying me. I'm doing all this work and y'all are not paying me. Y'all are pulling me to different departments and I'm not getting paid extra. I know there's a big kind of controversy right now at our facilities because they are going down on incentive pay, and people are like, well, y'all already don't pay me now, so why would I come and do extra, and y'all are just not gonna pay me then, or y'all are paying me but it's not that much and I'm doing a whole lot of work to say it's not that much. So just really leaving a lot of people that I've talked to, CNAs, nurse techs, PCTs, unit secretaries, leaving them feeling really unappreciated and not seen, not felt, not heard. I feel like it will be very beneficial for upper management to come and do a shadow shift with it. But that's for another episode. And then I have seen a lot lately too. Our unit secretaries are dual rolling. They are doing unit secretary work, but they're also able to be pulled from that position and work the floor and vice versa. If we don't have a unit secretary sometimes, a CNA will be at the desk answering phones, faxing paperwork, keeping the flow of the day going, and doing all these things, and basically doing 2 jobs for 1 person pay. I think some of the biggest factors that were mentioned to me from these particular positions was just the want and the yearn for advancement, them wanting to do more than what they were doing, but them just running into obstacles. And some of the 3 biggest obstacles I found were institutional obstacle, financial obstacles, and personal obstacles. So for personal obstacles, it's people that may not necessarily want to go back to be a nurse, and some do, but just furthering their education in general. They're like, maybe I can't do this right now, or it's a lot on my plate. I have a lot going on, and maybe I'm not ready. Maybe I can't do it. Just a lot of things within themselves going on in their personal life that is keeping them from kind of getting to that next step. Next is financial. We already kind of briefly touched on that. They're not getting paid enough. So when they feel like they're not getting paid enough, with any human being, if you feel like your money's tight, you're going to immediately start freaking out. You're going to start trying to scramble around and figure out, how am I going to get this done? How am I going to get that done? Because if they go to school, let's be honest, especially nursing school, there have been instances where people have had to drop hours. They're not making as much money coming in on their checks because they're dropping hours. So you calculate that, your bills ain't stopping. You're now having to pay school fees and other things that you need in that realm, uniforms, books, and whatever else you might need. And it all starts to add up. So when your money get tight like that, that could cause anybody to kind of be like, do I really want to put myself in that compromising position? Probably not. I do know several organizations offer you tuition reimbursement, which is a great thing, but just from the mindset of sometimes we have to wait till we finish school, till we get the grade and are able to present it, and sometimes we need that money now. I can't wait. Call JG Wentworth 877 cash now. Run me my money now. I need it now. So that can become a conflict. And then in some instances, organizations will offer for you to be able to have them pay for everything up front, and you have to commit to them after you graduate for a certain amount of time. Don't shoot the messenger. I have talked to several people, and some of them are like, it's great that they'll pay for it, and I love that, and I won't have to worry about it financially, but to commit to them for 5 years or 7 years is a lot, because I already see how they're treating me now in this realm of what I'm doing. So I can only imagine, yes, I'll be getting paid more, but is it going to be the same conditions? Is it going to be the same uncomfortableness at work and me having to deal with all this and not be properly compensated? So that has been a big thing. And then I also know that they will pay for your schooling, and once they pay for your schooling and you commit to them, just know some places, if you do not finish or fulfill that contract that you signed, you're gonna have to pay it back. And I think another huge problem that I saw or just see personally now that I'm in education is the amount of people we can take. So we have a large influx of people wanting to further education, wanting to go to school for nursing, to be a lawyer, social worker, whatever. And like we don't have large classes. Usually these institutions that are housing these programs and doing these things, it's maybe 15, 20 max if it's a bigger facility. But y'all aren't taking a lot of people, and you got to think this is maybe once or twice a year. So you still have a whole other slew of people that possibly want to get their foot in the door and be able to finish school and start their career. Last is institutional. When I say institutional, I say institutional. I mean the people within your facility, the people within your institution. It really be your own people that be your biggest ops. I have seen on so many occasions where CNAs or unit secretaries, people are encouraged to go for more and do more, go back to school, get certifications, those types of things. And then it'll be time for them to finish and kind of move around or move somewhere else. And the manager, the OC, the higher up executive leader blocks them. They will block them from going anywhere else after encouraging them to go back to school and further their education or get something more. I've seen that more times than I could count on my two hands and my 2 feet. And it's really sad because I don't think people ever think about that. Or maybe they think we don't know, but we do. Some people are bold enough to just straight up tell you, yeah, like I told them you couldn't do X, Y, and Z. Or when they're inquiring with the other party they're trying to move to, yeah, well, your manager said X, Y, Z, or your leader said X, Y, Z. And it just really is like that's how we come in. That's what we're doing. I don't agree with that at all. And I feel like some people do it as a power thing. Like I have the power to make this decision or determine what's what or make that choice for you. And I really don't think that's fair. So I think some of it is people just being scared to move around and do those things because they're fearful of not being able to do it and having to be stuck in the same place even after making these changes and adjustments and upgrades to kind of further their path and do something a little bit different. Now, the next thing I would like to talk about is why recognition matters for all of these people. Firstly, morale. If you're not being recognized and you're busting your ass, excuse my language, busting your behind, you're literally not going to want to keep putting forth that work and doing anything. And that leads to what we talked about earlier, that burnout. If you have burnout and people not doing as much or not going as hard and not putting in all that effort, that eventually trickles over to the patient. I think it's so funny at various organizations, we stress patient care and patient satisfaction, and we're not taking care of the people that are taking care of our patients. We're putting them in positions and predicaments that make them feel like they're not appreciated and that they essentially have to do the work because that's just what it is and they just have to get over it. And I don't agree with that in the slightest. If we can get those people feeling appreciated and keep getting them to put their best foot forward. There have been several people that stop me and tell me, because, I go through my spiel, hey, how you doing? How's it going today? When I do my rounds, and I'd be like, it's going. Or, I don't want to talk about it. Or, I'm busy, I'll catch you later. Or, I don't want to be here, I want to go home. I cannot tell you how many times I heard people say they want to go home. And the shift just started 10 minutes ago. Like, you already want to leave? Like, did you even want to come in this morning? Or did you just come because you knew you had to? And you can't afford to call off. Or if you call in, it's going to be a consequence. And I am not telling you to call in. That is not what I'm saying. If you have to call in for whatever reason, call in. But I'm not saying that make that a habit. I just want to clear that up in case. In case somebody sees this and is like, oh, that girl told me call in, bet. I'm calling in tomorrow. But no. That can really make for a not good shift if you're already coming in with that kind of energy of you not wanting to do and you not wanting to to participate or or do your best work. That really makes it hard. I feel like that recognition can be a ripple effect, because if we show that we appreciate these people and that they're doing good things and we see them, we hear them, we understand, and we are making strides to make it better. Rome wasn't built in a day. So even if it's like, hey, I understand your concern, but like it's not something that's will be feasible right now. Even something like that can just be letting them know that we are making effort towards, rectifying that or making that better for you, whether it be pay, whether it just be, hey, you earned a lunch or whatever, whether it's just a shout out. We have something that lets us see across the region all the people doing great things. Hey, so and so was able to start an IV for me on a troubled patient, or hey, so and so, because only the nurse techs and nurse interns can do IVs with supervision as long as they've been checked off on it. So that probably wasn't the best example. But oh, hey, so and so caught this with vitals, reported to the nurse, and we were able to intervene for whatever reason. Just shouting them out. When people feel appreciated, they're more likely to come back. They're more likely to do more, do better, because y'all done seen it firsthand. If you have people you're not appreciating, especially our PCTs and CNAs that's in that room a little bit more frequently, they're not going to do the extra for you. I have literally been on a shift where a CNA, I've asked her to do something and she like boldly looked me in my face and was okay. She never got up. She never got up to see about that patient. She never got up to do anything. And it wasn't me personally, I don't think. I just think it was people were asking her things and she was doing all this and she was just over it. Like nobody was noticing, nobody helped her when she needed. And she was kind of just like, yeah, I'll get to it when I get to it. I'm doing something. And then I've been with people on the other end of the spectrum, and I notice this a lot with people that are just coming in and they're fresh. They're eager, they want to do all the things. Hey, can you do such and such? And they're up, running around, jumping to do all the things we need. So, yeah, make sure we're just showing that appreciation. I really, when I drop this, it will be past that time. But I really wanted to speak on recently. We just had CNA and Tech Week. And for Nurses Week, they did something every day. They had a different activity. For CNA and Tech Week, they did not do that. And I am not a CNA, but I felt some type of way. Because I'm just like, hello? Like, you did something 2 days out of the week. I think one day was a breakfast and the other day was a lunch. And not to sound like they're ungrateful or unappreciative, but they do a lot. And for me personally, if I was a CNA, seeing everybody else get a full week of celebration, I would really feel some type of way. I'd be like, oh, I'm good enough for you when you need me to flip this patient, go bathe them, feed them, and do all these things, but you can't even show simple appreciation for the week. And I was just like, y'all could have did a little bit more. Y'all could have came harder than that, and y'all didn't. And a lot of people voiced to me like, this is all I get was a biscuit and some powdered eggs. No tote bag, nothing like that. So it's just instances like that where we can be like, hey, we could have did a little bit more, or we could have showed them. Now, obviously, I know we can't drop a band on everybody to do something, but just showing a little bit more effort. It kind of felt like not genuine, and more so felt like, well, it's CNA Tech Week. Let us do something just to say something was done, but not necessarily showing true appreciation or doing what we probably could have done. Because hell, I'm sure a lot of them would have been happy even with free lunch all week, free breakfast all week, something. They're working hard. Half the time they don't even get to sit down and eat. All of these people, or for our unit secretary that's always on the phone, they don't get a chance to stop and break away because that phone's constantly ringing, or new admissions are constantly coming up and they're prepping the room, they're prepping the paperwork, they're doing the charts. So just being mindful of the things we're doing and not using that as a reason to not do more, because we can always do more. Maybe not necessarily what they want or what the techs want or anybody else, but I definitely feel like something more could have been done, and it could have been brought to the attention of upper management. So upper management, executive leaders, if you are watching this, people have complained. They were not happy with that little bit of things they got during CNA and Tech Week, and wish that y'all would have just done a little bit more. I think unit secretaries get their own week as well, and that's coming up. So just being mindful of the things that we're doing and how we're celebrating these people. We want them to feel loved. We want them to feel acknowledged. We want them to feel appreciated. And yeah. So you heard it from me. If they ask who the source was me. I don't know if it's just my face and people feel like they can tell me whatever and be comfortable with telling me, which I'm totally fine with. But I have gotten a lot of feedback and a lot of complaints. So again, upper people, if you are watching this, it doesn't have to just be that one week that we show appreciation and talk to them and tell them that we are happy that they're here, we're happy that they're working for us. Things can be done on different occasions. So just planting that seed for y'all. Hopefully y'all take better initiative next time to make them feel appreciated. And then regular staff, other techs, other CNAs, other unit secretaries, nurses, people in other departments. If you see a CNA, if you have a pooled CNA, if a tech comes to rotate with you, if your unit secretary gets pulled because they picked up and their slot on their floor was pulled, say thank you. Something as simple as a thank you can go a long way. Tell them that you appreciate them coming in or doing extra or staying longer or working on your floor. I would almost compel you to do these things and see how far that gets you in the long run, not just for your department, but for the whole hospital. It will make a huge difference. All right, so before we end our episode, I want to switch gears. This segment that I'm about to do is called Mind Shift. This is kind of our mental health moment for each episode. I will be doing it at the end of each episode. Sometimes it's something for you to just think about. Sometimes it is a prompt for you to do, like journal or an activity. So it will always come with a theme, and then it will come with a task or what you should be doing. So for today's mind shift, the theme is self-compassion. The task: think about one boundary you can gently reinforce this week related to self-compassion. Something to leave you guys with and something for you to think about. On next week's episode, I will be ranting some more, go figure, about unsafe ratios. Unsafe ratios for nurses, how it's mandated in some places but not others, and how that affects the nursing staff directly and the flow of things with patients and everything else in the hospital. So thank you guys for joining me, and until next time, bye.